a login page. If you can just
Yes.
confirm that for me, Shanna, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have applied for the regular OST grant, you will be familiar with this page. This is our login page. This has some notice information. This is where you log in, and also this is where you create an account. If you haven't created an account for your organization yet, you will click create one. The same account that you created if you had submitted an original OST application is going to be used for this application as well. So if you already have an account, do not create a new one. And there's one rule, it's one account per organization or agency, however you refer to it internally. So I'm actually going to log into my existing account so I can show you how the new workflow works for the special competitions. So it's going to click, here's my username, password, and click enter system. All right. Once I've entered the system, you will see by default, I will land at the 22-24 OST RFA page. So you can see I submitted my RFA for the OST, and I now want to apply for special competitions. So if that is the case, you will click here, special competitions, the next tab, and you will see here that the narrative has changed to the OST special competitions. We have the RFA documents for each three that Shanna mentioned earlier, and then we have to complete our organization information. For the purpose of this training, since this is very similar for OST, I already completed my organization information. So I'm going to go click here just to show you. So I submitted all my information as I did for my normal OST. Just make sure that some of the language might be a bit different. So you have to answer a few more questions or probably less. Once that's done, you submit it, and then I also submitted my uploads, as you can see here. Once that's done, by default, you will see a program application populate here called new application. So you can see here, it doesn't have a name yet since I haven't really accessed it, but it populated on its own once I submitted my organization information. So I'm just going to click new application here. And here is my RFA. So this is similar to the other RFA that you might have completed where you have the 5 forms. So let's go ahead and start with program description. So program description, we're just going to put in some normal program information. So let's see, let's call this, we'll say the Sheena project. This grant type is going to be OST, one of my special competitions. Let's do mentorship. And let's say that this is a school year and summer. So for the budget, I am requesting 160,000 or that's my total budget. Then I'm going to put my requesting 140,000. Put some more information so we can put Navdeep, Sheena, title, PM, project manager. You can put a phone number. Oh, make sure the formatting matches. And then I'm just going to complete my organization history. So is this organization? Yeah, so just going to go ahead and complete this information quickly here, put some testing data in. Scroll down, same questions as OST for the most part. So just going to select some options here. So let me just get through that. Let's scroll down. And my measurable objectives. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to put some testing data. Once that's done, I'm just going to scroll up briefly. I like to double check that I had all my fields completed, and I generally like to click save first to make sure that I didn't miss anything because the system will validate that and let you know. So it looks like I completed everything, so I'm just going to submit my form. All right, once that's done, you can see here I have a progress bar. Let's go to program sites. Here we're going to enter in our site information. Let's say this is a testing site. I have a testing address that I'm going to use. Okay, so we'll put my oh, one moment, sorry about that, I didn't copy correctly. So next is let's say this is a community base. Washington, D.C. is by default, but you can update this information if needed. 20024, and let's say my ward is the 3rd ward. We're going to select our target wards to be served. We can say 3rd and 4th. Answer a few. Oh, actually, I'm going to put no here because I'm just trying to save some time. Let's say this is a charter school. Unduplicated number of youth to be served. Let's say we're serving 65 youth. We're going to do 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th graders. And this is going to be a school year program. Once that's done, it's going to ask you to select your dosage model. So we'll do continuous one-on-one. And then we are requested to enter in our program date. So since this is, let's say this is going to be 10/03/23, and then we'll say this is 6/30/24. Just going to put in some values here. Let's say we operate Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So now we're going to put in Monday, we'll say 6 a.m. to 5. No, it's not doing that. Okay, 5 p.m. Okay, so you can actually type in the times, which I think is really helpful instead of searching down the whole list. Oops, I meant to do 6, and we can do 5. Once that's done, I'm going to scroll down a little. We're going to do our activity name. Once I click save, these should validate, so just give me a few moments. I'm going to do that right now. So activity name, we can do testing. My primary focus is enrichment. Activity type health, for example. Let's click save here. All right, so you can see here all my fields validated correctly. So I am not receiving any messages or red bars that some data is incomplete. So once I've confirmed that, I think the form is good to go. I'm just going to click submit here. All right, next is support and sustainability. This is a set of narrative that you are requested to
Navdeep,
complete. Yes?
Navdeep, I'm so sorry. Before you move on to support and sustainability, I wanted to point out with the program sites.
Okay.
I think the model that was just each of these, once you get through this, you're going to see a little different application for each of the RFAs. So I believe this is the example for mentorship.
Correct.
If you are a scholarship, if you're, applying to be a out of school time scholarship program, obviously you will not have this level of detail because you're not providing direct services to youth. You will be asked to provide your site name. It can be your headquarters, right? But it will look a little different depending on which RFA you're applying for. So I just wanted to make that clear. If you are providing direct services or not providing direct services, you will not have to provide this level of detail around hours, activities, etc. That's all.
Yes. Thank you, Shanna, for explaining that. Yes, as she mentioned, items do change based on selections that are made throughout the process of the RFA. So please keep that in mind. Unfortunately, I can't show you all of them, which is why we're going through one set. But if you have any questions about it, you can always reach out to Learn24 or Citiespan Help Desk for some questions. All right, let's go to the support and sustainability next. As I mentioned, this is a narrative questions that you have to answer. So I'm just going to put testing for the purpose of this training, but you would want to go through each question and ensure that your answers are properly answering the question. So let's say this is the MOU. Put some testing. Jana, is there anything you wanted to add about this page in particular that they should know about?
No, there, as she mentioned before, the questions do vary a little bit based upon which application you're completing, but generally, yeah, it's just text.
Thank you. Okay, so I think I'm done with this. I'm going to go ahead and click submit here. And there we go. It's telling me I'm almost completed. So now I'm going to work on my budget narrative. So your budget narrative, the amount that you requested, so I requested 140,000. That's what we want to add up to in this budget narrative. So this budget narrative will validate you properly and show you how much you are off by and explain to you what needs to be fixed in order for you to submit this. So for mine, I'm just going to say I'm doing salaries only, for example. So I'm going to put my narrative. This is going to be testing. Let's say that my position is a teacher. For the cost, I'm going to put 350. This is just, and then I'm going to scroll down here and complete the next set of questions. So this is also teacher. Let's say that this is the cost is 70. Quality is 250. Quantity, sorry, I said quality by mistake. And I'm going to click save here. Only reason I'm clicking save is because this is going to save the whole system and run the calculation so that I'm able to see what I'm at right now. This is going to be very helpful if you're inputting a lot of sets of data. I suggest periodically saving so you can see how much you're at and what's left to enter. So you can see here mine actually calculated exactly to the amount that I was trying to achieve. So once I've done that, I feel like my form is great and I'm going to go ahead and click submit here. Shanna, would you like to add anything about the budget?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
All
Of
right, thank
course, we have the RFA Q&A and the email address in the RFA that you can send any specific questions that you have as you begin to navigate this. And both I and Navdeep are available to answer those immediately.
yes.
But as soon as we're done with this demonstration, we'll also open it up for any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you. Sounds good. Once you've submitted all your forms and you feel confident that you want to go ahead and sign off, we're going to get into the sign off application sign off. If you feel any changes are need to be made to something, say for example, you put the wrong program site. So you can click on that and unlock it. You have the ability to unlock until your sign up has been submitted. So don't be alarmed. If you made a mistake, we can go back and unlock it from form 1 through 4. But once your application is signed off, you will not have the ability to unlock because that's going to be passed forward to Learn 24. So I'm saying that I think my application is good to go. I'm going to sign off on it. So I'll click application sign off and let's just say my first name, last name. So you can see here we actually have a text here to automate it to look like a signature. And I am going to click submit.
And
All
we
right.
receive the time-stamped submission once you do
Correct.
hit submit.
So now I received this a message saying that, hey, your RFP has been submitted. Thank you so much. And if I have any questions, I can reach out to the help desk or that email that Shanna mentioned. And if you would like to access any of your documents instead of going into the forms, we have our PDF versions here. So I'm just going to pause right here. Shanna, would you like to add anything to this today?
I think I'm good. Thank you for the explanation. I would just like to hear from the applicants if they have any questions, because that's what matters.
Sounds good. Let's open the floor for questions.
Should we put those on the chat or is it okay